We're driving across the Beehive State from east to west. And there's something about Utah, something unique. Let's just say it is never boring or uneventful.
Riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV, yeah.
We've made it to Utah, one of my favorite states. And there are several things I've been meaning to do here, especially now that I have a more off-road capable vehicle. But first, let's admire the views from our first rest area. Although this is nothing compared to what we'll see over the next 2.5 days.
And we are in Utah, now for that final stretch. We're 51 minutes away.
Yeah, it's been a pretty long drive through Colorado. But here, we're going to get off I-70 and take Highway 128 Scenic Byway. And trust me, they don't call this one scenic for no reason. We can already see the La Salle Mountains in the distance. This coming up on the left is what remains of a ghost town called Cisco, and that corner building in ruins probably the site of the Cisco Clifton filling station mentioned in the 1960s Johnny Cash song. The town was founded as a railroad water refilling station in the 1880s, but it started to decline when steam locomotives became obsolete, and the construction of I-70 was the last nail on that coffin. Let me tell you, there is something fascinating about the history of all these abandoned places in the American West. Here we're gonna make a left onto the actual Scenic Byway, going towards Moab, the gateway to Arches and Canyonlands National Parks, and Dead Horse Point, and so many other places of incredible natural beauty. And I plan to stay at a campground more or less halfway there. As we approach the Colorado River, things start to get interesting. As we're about to cross the Colorado, here on the left is what remains of the old Dewey Suspension Bridge, which was open to vehicular traffic until 1988, then reopened for pedestrians and bicycles in 2000, only to be destroyed by fire in 2008. Apparently a 7-year-old playing with matches. Check it out! Fisher Towers. Actually, I intend to camp very close to them. We're descending upon Castle Valley, and here on the right is Lower Onion Creek Campground, our home for tonight. I'm gonna go around the campground to see what it is like, but I think I'm gonna take one of the pull-throughs by the entrance. This is it.
Well, what do you guys think? Welcome to the American West. It's a little warm, I'll be honest about it, but I think we're gonna be fine. I mean, if it gets really bad, I can run the generator until 8 p.m. I don't want to make any noise, but if I have to, I will. It's one of those self-checking deals. You deposit $20, and I have to make sure, but I think this tub goes in my campsite. So let's read the rules once again. Okay, here we go. Pay fee, fill out envelope, enclose fee, detach tub, deposit envelope, attach tub to post. Yep, exactly how I thought. Before we continue, this video is sponsored by Magic Spoon, cereal reinvented, and I want to share with you all the amazing benefits of Magic Spoon cereal. They have this childlike nostalgia kind of thing going on, cartoon inspired, never boring, and with the tastes that you remember, and you can eat at any time of the day, but with high protein, 13 to 14 grams, only 4 to 5 grams of net carbs, and 0 grams of sugar. And you know we've been trying to go low carb, so that's perfect. It is keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, with no artificial colors or sweeteners. And did I mention sugar-free? Well, this is a new taste called birthday cake, so let's give it the taste test. Take a look at that. That is delicious, but without all the sugar. And I love the cocoa and maple waffle too, by the way. Click the link below to grab a variety pack today and try it. Be sure to use the promo code TRAVELING at checkout to get $5 off any order, or go to magicspoon.com/traveling. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product that it is backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they will refund your money. No questions asked. So, click the link below and use the code TRAVELING for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/traveling to save $5 off your order today. Now, back to you, Tad.
We might be getting some bad weather later from the La Salle Mountains, but for now, let's enjoy this incredible campsite. That muddy stream down there, that's Onion Creek. And there is an Upper Onion Creek campground as well, much closer to the Fisher Towers. Maybe next time. And there are several trails I might want to do at one point in the near future. But for today, we're just going to enjoy being here, which in my case is actually one of my favorite places. We've got some ominous clouds. I don't think we're gonna be able to dodge this one. It's definitely coming our way. And check out the Fisher Towers. There are all kinds of tiny formations and arches. Well, at least they look tiny from here. Yeah, that's coming. every bad storm, you usually get a rainbow. A fitting end to our first day in Utah.
Good morning, and today the plan is, and this is actually one of the reasons why we upgraded to a trail bus. Today we're doing the Shafer Trail in Canyonlands National Park. So let's put the GoPro up on the roof and off we go.
So this is the upper loop here at the campground. This 128 Scenic Byway, definitely one of the most scenic drives in the whole state. By the way, this whole road is dotted with plenty of camping and hiking opportunities. This on the right is the entrance to Arches National Park, but that's not where we're going today. As of summer 2022, they require timed entry reservations, like many other of the more popular national parks. But today we're actually going to the other famous national park here in the area to do a very specific 4x4 trail, to properly breaking Starship, the new Silverado trail bus. Here we are. Let's stop by the visitor center to get some information about road conditions. It's been raining a lot over the past couple of days.
Well, I went in to check about, information on the Shafer trails. It's been raining a couple of days in a row, and he says that they haven't had any reports that there could be some washouts. With
GPS signal lost.
With my vehicle, it's probably fine, but they wouldn't recommend it unless you have like 4x4, and they don't recommend the white rim or that other road, the Potash Road. So we'll take it one at a time.
I've been looking forward to doing this road for a very, very long time. And I'm finally here, where the pavement ends.
So this will be for the White Rim Road. We're doing the other one.
Actually, the White Rim Road is the one I really wanted to do, but I'll settle for the Shafer Trail, which is probably even more scenic. And then Potash Road, back to Moab. There's a ranger coming. Let me ask her about road conditions.
How's it going?
How's up there?
It's soupy. I'm a lot lower than you are. Do you have lock differentials on this? I had to use mine just to help me make sure I was going through the mud. Once you get past, there's the first big mud pit up here. It's really rutted and the sand is really soft and there are a ton of exposed rocks. I feel like you would make it, but those mud pits are just here at the top and that's where my vehicle had a problem. But I mean, you've got good clearance. I was almost scraping on top of those deep ruts. So, I mean, I would just say go up and take a peek and have fun, be safe.
Feeling this road is going to be an experience. I mean, the muddy parts are not too bad, nothing Starship can't handle. These views are amazing, and that is the road ahead down there. Doesn't look too bad from afar. I guess this is the beginning of the switchbacks. We'll take it one hairpin switchback at a time. Here we go again with my reduced turning radius. So far, the only complaint I have about Starship. The road is gradually getting worse and worse, and it is not like I can make a U-turn and turn around, so the die is cast. We have to make it all the way down now. Now we're getting more rocks. I've never actually done anything like this before, but so far, so good. being on the edge of a precipice does not help matters, as far as my wits are concerned. No idea how the Ranger made it over these huge boulders here with that lower clearance Jeep. But hey, she probably has a lot more experience than me at this overlanding stuff. The good news is we're almost at the bottom. Even if the road gets worse, at least we're not going to have anywhere to fall into. Now we're going to make a left onto Potash Road. Were we to continue straight, I believe that would be the White Rim Road, which we'll do some other time.
Good stuff. Traveling Robert. Traveling Robert.
Oh my gosh, he loves you!
Love you, buddy.
Always great to run into viewers, and they gave me some tips, even showed me some pictures about the status of the road ahead, which in some places it seems to be non-existent.
Where do I start? This was definitely far more challenging than expected, especially for me that I don't really have a lot of off-roading experience. Luckily, Starship has performed like a boss, like the trail boss it is. The guy in the Jeep, viewer of the channel by the way, said that it was really bad on the way to Moab. We'll see. I mean, I'm not going back up those switchbacks, that's for sure. So. We'll keep pushing along. I think we're gonna make it. Not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. But tell you what, just these views, this 360-degree view right here, might be worth the palpitations. I believe Dead Horse Point is coming up, so we'll keep going. Let me see if there's a view. You can see the river down this way. Oh yeah, I see a lot of standing water.
I think the road conditions are even worse down here, but at least, as I said, we don't have a precipice to fall into. In some parts, the road has been completely washed out. And this is where we exit Canyonlands National Park. I wonder if that is Dead Horse Point. Probably not. But one thing for sure, it feels incredible to be here, miles from civilization. The silent soundtrack of the desert, only disrupted by the occasional insect flying nearby and my idling engine. No other human for miles.
That is Dead Horse Point, actually. I think I see people up there. Yep, that's it. Not for the faint of heart, let me tell you. We'll keep chugging along. I'm never gonna make it back to the campground before noon. That was too optimistic on my part. But I mean, if I have to pay an extra day, I will.
Yeah, this is taking longer than I expected. Dead Horse Point State Park, by the way, another must-see place in this area, along with the 2 national parks. This drive, although nerve-wracking at times, has definitely been worth it so far. Sometimes you just have to get away from your comfort zone. Here we are close to what is known as the Thelma and Louise Point, famous for being the location of the final scene in that movie. I really should have stopped, but I'm going to continue. The road is much better around here, but at this point, I kind of want to get back to civilization. I'm going to get back past my checkout time, which I doubt is going to be an issue since the campground is nearly empty, but still, I have to keep moving. My time here in Utah is only transitory. Illy is flying to Vegas in 2 days, so we can continue the journey together, and I still have about 600 miles to go. But don't worry, I'm not hightailing it, we're going to take the scenic route. Look at this lone tree here. Already see the potash evaporation ponds that give this road its name. Potash, by the way, is a kind of potassium salt used as fertilizer. Apparently, in early summer, they dye the water deep blue so it can evaporate quicker. And it is supposed to look surreal against the red sandstone. But right now, it just looks like dirty water. And here we have some more potash ponds. This one is called Elvis Rock. I fail to see the resemblance. After this drive, I think Starship has been properly broken in. Now let's go back to Moab. And that's it. We've conquered Potash Road. Now let's get back to Lower Onion Creek, hitch up, and continue on the journey west. Now this road right here is State Route 179, and there are plenty of trailheads and recreation opportunities along these 19 miles to Moab. Next time we come to this area, we have to spend at least 2 weeks here to truly appreciate everything it has to offer. We're not gonna go into Moab proper, not today. As I said, right now I just want to get back to the campground so I can hitch up And tomorrow we're going to do another great scenic byway, Highway 12. We did it back in summer 2020, but the weather conditions were not great, not to mention the smoke from nearby fires, so we're doing it again. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're gonna take I-70 west for a little bit, then State Route 24 towards a town called Torrey, and then, tomorrow, we're gonna do Scenic Byway 12. We're going to a pretty remote area, so I'm going to fill up right here in Green River. Actually, let's stop at Love's. This one has RV parking and hookups. So this is the first Love's I see with the full hookup sites. So I had to ask, and they're saying upwards of $45 per night. Seems a little steep for a truck stop, but then again, it's full hookups. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, I'm probably gonna pay about the same at the place where I'm going with the view. So I actually made the mistake. I put gas 4 cents more expensive at this other place, but it is what it is. I got some coffee. I need coffee. Cool. Utah has got to be one of the most uniquely beautiful states. Goblin Valley, that's a great state park. We were there back in 2014 and we'll be back, just not today. We're going to pass right next to it as we take State Route 24. It almost looks like a lunar landscape, like the surface of another planet. Coming up ahead, the entrance to Goblin Valley. This incredible rock formation is North Caneville Mesa, and we're approaching once again an area of unimaginable beauty. In a few minutes, we're going to drive right across Capitol Reef National Park, coming from the east. What is this place? It is mesmerizing. We're approaching this greener area along the banks of the Fremont River. There are so many hikes and overlanding trails and petroglyphs. We are 11 miles from Torrey, our destination, and I can't believe we've now driven through here more than 3 times and never stopped. Well, back in 2014 we did a couple of times, but ever so briefly. I have a confession to make. I didn't realize I was gonna drive through Capitol Reef. I should have known, right? I've taken this road twice before, but never in this direction, so it's like a whole new experience coming from the east. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. That would have been us back in 2014 in the rental Class C. It is majestic. We are arriving in Torrey, Utah as the rain begins to fall. We're gonna stay at Thousand Lakes Campgrounds, which we've been here before, and I'm gonna get one of the water and electric sites towards the back, since tomorrow I'm going to full hookups in Las Vegas. This is it. This campground is so nice, and the fortuitous discovery back in summer 2020. It's gonna be a beautiful sunset. Great views from these water and electric only sites here towards the back. Not the greatest desert sunset, but not bad. Well, good morning. What a view, huh? This is Thousand Lakes RV Park in Torrey, Utah. And all the sites back here are only water and electric, but they get the view, right? And today is only water and electric. We don't need no septic. And whoop, there's a fly. Anywho, today we're taking Highway 12 to the west. We've never taken it in that direction, so there should be a different perspective. Really looking forward to it. It's one of the most beautiful drives. Top 5 or maybe top 10, but definitely, if you are into this type of landscape, definitely top 5 in the United States. So let's get on the road. Today we're going to Las Vegas! Yes, today we're doing the famous and picturesque Highway 12 Scenic Byway, the one that we didn't do by mistake in 2014 and did with lots of smoke in 2020. But today, the visibility and the weather conditions are perfect, so let's get underway. Expensive gasoline here in Torrey, Utah. $4.89.9. $4.90 per gallon. Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. Going up in elevation. Scenic overlook. Let's take a break. That is the view. We've reached the summit, 9,600 feet.
Welcome to Boulder.
And we have some interpretive signs about the history of the area. And that's where we came from, Boulder. We are now approaching this part of the road called the Hogback, one of the most scenic in the whole Highway 12. There is a narrow road with huge drop-offs on both sides. Last time we were here, you could barely see the bottom of the canyon because of the smoke, but today we've got great visibility. Amazing. Calf Creek Canyon down there. Incredible. Just incredible landscape here. This, by the way, part of Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument, and we're gonna be going in and out of it, kind of skirting its northwestern border. Grand Staircase Escalante is almost 2 million acres of wilderness, where layers of sedimentary rock resemble a huge staircase, descending from Bryce Canyon, through Zion, the Vermilion Cliffs, all the way down to the Grand Canyon. A concept first grasped by geologist Clarence Dutton in the 1870s. just love the juxtaposition of the red sandstone with the green vegetation. Such beautiful contrast. We're approaching a town called Escalante, and there are so many things to do in this area, so many hikes to arches and different rock formations in this otherworldly landscape. I kind of wish I wasn't just driving through this time, but Ely is flying to Las Vegas this evening, and then we're going to California, so this time around I just opted for some of the most scenic drives in the state, some that I've done before, and one that was bucket list, like the Shafer Trail. That looks like one of the steps on that grand staircase, don't you think? Here we are, Escalante. Let's take a quick break. We are approaching Kodachrome Basin, which is another incredible state park. Now approaching Bryce National Park, which brings us very close to the western terminus of Highway 12 Scenic Byway. It is definitely starting to look like the hoodoos of Bryce Canyon. This is it. This is our only glimpse at Bryce Canyon today. Now approaching Red Canyon, which is the end or the beginning of Highway 12. From here, we're kind of gonna make a beeline for Las Vegas, which in part is going to be a beautiful drive. We're going to be so close to Zion National Park. Let me tell you, Utah is definitely one of my favorite states. But now the route will take us briefly into Arizona, through the Virgin River Gorge, and eventually into Nevada. The Virgin River Gorge, by the way, definitely an unexpected surprise. with the same suddenness we got in, we're out. And we are now in Nevada. We have arrived to the land of the Joshua Tree, the Mojave Desert. It is 109 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 43 in Celsius. That is hot. This is it. Greetings from Las Vegas. On the next one, we're going to explore here a little bit as we make our way to California. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the road.
Riding in my